Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Smackdown post show. It's your girl, Denise Salcedo, and I am joined by Robin Lundberg. And damn, Robin, what a night. But before we get into it, how are you?
I can always rise to the occasion right after Blue Chew.
Promo code Denise. Oh my gosh, Robin, dude, I feel like we had probably one of the better SmackDowns of the entire year today. There was so much that went down. We had the return of Ilja Dragunov, which followed an incredible match with him and Sami Zayn. We got to see Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre basically brawl it out to close out the show. Sadly, unfortunately, though, they did write off Jacob Fatu, who had a reported injury, and it looks like he is officially out for the time being. But man, what a great show. Robin, how did you feel overall about what they did on SmackDown today?
Yeah, I think the Dragonov bit is the one that's going to stick with people from this episode for a number of reasons. One, they bring him back after such a long absence, but not only do they bring him back, they bring him back with a payoff. So he answers that open challenge with Sami Zayn. And once you did that, you kind of had to pull the trigger on it, which they did. I was doubting it. I was like, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? And then they did it. And also, I want to give some credit to Sami Zayn because he had a really nice run there with that US title, with this open contenders bit, and with the matches. They were backed up. A lot of really good, solid matches for Sami Zayn. And not only did Dragunov come back, and not only did he win the championship, and not only did it happen in a match that was worthy of this Sami Zayn US title run, but they also set up a War Games thing in the midst of it with the MFTs and their distraction for Sami Zayn, and then the Wyatts, because clearly that's where they're headed with the face paint and the dark. They're gonna have a War Games match with the Wyatts and the Solos gang there. So I thought top to bottom, that was a really well executed block of professional wrestling television.
So there's a lot to get into with what you just said, but I want to get more. I want to get started with Elia because, like you said, that really was the thing that's the thing that stuck with people. I think that everybody coming off of this show was like, wow, not only did we get this great return for somebody that we've been waiting to see come back for like a year now, because Elia was on fire on NXT, got called up to Raw, did such an amazing job, was being booked every single week to have matches. And you felt like, okay, this is going to be a guy that WWE is going to push, they're going to do something with. And when the news came that he tore his ACL, it was so unfortunate, man. Like you knew, like, oh man, like this guy was on fire. I can't believe it, right? It's such a bummer. When he came back today, because people have been wondering, when's he coming back? And we had kind of checked that timeline, and I'm thinking, okay, we're doing the math right. He should have been back a little bit ago. Like the time should have been now for him to come back. So when they teased today that Sami Zayn wasn't even going to have an open challenge, and Robin, I was so mad. I was like, oh hell no, this is one of the best things on SmackDown. They better have an open challenge. Then they made it seem like it was going to be the Miz, which he did answer that. And the moment that it was the Miz, everybody was like, okay, remember when he went and ruined Carmelo's opportunity, so Carmelo went back and then ruined his opportunity? That was the moment that you knew someone big was going to come out and face Sami Zayn. So when it ended up being Ilya, I didn't think it was going to be Ilya. Like I legitimately did not think it was going to be him. Like some people were throwing out his name as a suggestion, but I did not think it was going to be him. So when Ilya did walk out, oh, I felt so happy, man, because he's legitimately one of my favorites. He has so much intensity in the ring. I feel like only a couple of people have that. He's such a good wrestler with about anybody. No matter what match it is, he is going to show out nonstop, right? I think today was a really good way to bring him back because he reminded everybody what he could do. Sami Zayn was the perfect person for his return because they were able to go out there and truly have a matchup that, for multiple reasons, is why I loved it. So the reason I loved this match was because this was, honest to God, this was a PLE match. This was something you could have seen on WrestleMania. Like, that's how good it was. Like, they went full throttle on this. In words of Jacob Fatu, all gas, no brakes. That's what this match was. And it was a reminder of who Ilya Dragunov is. And after this, not only did they remind people who Ilya is, but this was also such a great chemistry between Sami Zayn, and it's an instant classic. And then also now I want to see more of Ilya and Sami Zayn, but he is the new United States champion. It was 100% the right call. If you're gonna have Sami Zayn lose to anybody, it should be him. And now there's a world of possibility of matches that he can have with different people on the show. Robin, when you think of the SmackDown roster, who are some of the potential matches that you want to see Ilya face against?
Well, you know what I'd like to see is him continue the challenge. Because, in bringing him back, it played to his strength. It gets kind of quiet, right? Like, it's not like we were, it wasn't vignettes. It wasn't all this stuff. There wasn't a lot of smoke around it. He comes back and has the great match. But I would like to see him then extend that same thing, that respect to Sami Zayn and what he did, because I think that would continue to enhance what he does best. So it could be Carmelo Hayes. And, there's a lot of guys on the roster that you could have a good match with Dragunov, obviously, because of all the things you outlined. But to me, the vehicle is maybe a little bit more important, because that allows him to continue doing that without having to have it rooted in a feud or any of that other stuff, and can focus on the part of him that is his strength, while you refine the rest of it around it. Because I do, for him to get to the next step, there probably has to be a personality takeaway, an enhancement to the overall package and everything like that. But in the meantime, you rely on what he does best, which is why you put the US title on him. And then, you go ahead and continue that open challenge. I think that would work really well.
You're 100% right. They have to do it because it's a truly a gem on the show. And that's what honestly made me look forward to tuning into SmackDown, was seeing Sami Zayn go and defend the title. And I like the element of surprise of you never know who it's going to be. And because Ilya has been gone for so long, there's so many people that he hasn't wrestled in a long time, like Carmelo Hayes, or people that he's never wrestled before. And like I'm looking at the SmackDown roster, and some of the people that I think would make great matches for him, like Aleister Black, he's somebody that should be in there with him. Axiom is another one. Hell, bring back Javon Evans.
I
And
was
then, of
going to say
course,
Javon, not on the
right?
roster, but that's like perfect, I think.
I'm with you. Carmelo Hayes, we mentioned just now, but of course they have massive history, so that's definitely one to go with. Ray Phoenix was also part of the past one, so there's something there too. Again, the SmackDown division, those are pretty much like some of the names you're most likely to see there, but still, regardless, they're all fresh matchups, and it's a bummer too because we are losing Jacob Fatu though. Like I don't know how long Fatu is going to be out for, but they officially wrote him out today. He was supposed to be in a match with Drew McIntyre that a lot of us were very excited for. However, reports came out that he was injured and that he would most likely be written off of the actual matchup today, which they did do really late into the show. He was attacked backstage. I think we all know it was Drew McIntyre because he came out all cocky thinking he was just going to win the title by default. But it does suck, Robin, that we lost one, we gained one, but we lost one in terms of people that are very enjoyable to watch in the ring. But with Fatu being out, how are you feeling about that?
It was a little weird, right? Like the whole thing around it is a little weird, because he was built the way he was, and then he kind of disappeared in a sense, and then it started like they were building him back, and then you hear, what are the reports, that he has a non-wrestling related injury or some. I mean, I don't know. The circumstances around it are a little odd, which then led to a little bit of a scatter shot, ending there, because you have this setup, and then all of a sudden, like, Cody Rhodes is like, oh, here's a title match, here's a match. And I mean, it was salvaged. It made for a good ending. They were fired up and all that. That worked well, and they didn't bury Drew in the process or none of that. But I do think the circumstances around the Fatu thing are a little strange, and it made for a non exactly logical ending based on what had been, the seeds that had been planted.
Yeah, everybody was saying because when Nick Aldis came out there, and they were talking about how like, oh, this is gonna be oh, this is gonna be
Number one
we're gonna
contender.
have a number one contenders match, right? I thought right then and there that they were gonna say, hey, Jacob Fatu's out. This is not gonna happen. And then when they did it, I had like 50-50 brain. Like part of me was thinking, oh, maybe he's not hurt. Like, I was
Mm.
wishful thinking, right? I was hoping he wasn't hurt and that, something was gonna happen, that everything was gonna be okay. But then I think the part that took over was the hey, they're probably gonna write him off in a different way. Either he's gonna get attacked beforehand or some sort of shenanigans is gonna happen where the physical matchup ain't actually going to happen. And so once that played out, we kind of knew, okay, I knew the moment the attack was happening because Fatu had a backstage interaction with Cody, and I'm sure you saw all the way in the back, Drew McIntyre was like watching him. So you knew, okay, the attack is coming. So right before the match, we see it. He's taken out, he's all bloodied out, and then that was it. Like he's going to be gone for whoever knows how long. But it sucks because Fatu, Robin, was he came in and, like you said, so high, like so high. Like things were going really well for him. I think where they dropped the ball, honest to God, was when they had him lose the United States Championship to Solo Sikoa. They kept that Solo Sikoa feud going way too long. Having him drop the title to Solo was not the way to go. I think they kind of took some of the momentum from Fatu when they made that call, and I wish they would enough.
It's also hard to judge for me when somebody's injured or whatever the case is, because you didn't get a chance to redeem that or change that or take it in another direction because it gets cut off at the pass. I mean, he basically they had set up him and Drew. They had set up the fact that he could be coming for Cody. It seemed like he was poised to continue to do the big things, and then an injury or whatever it is out of everybody's control. So you can't really ever get the momentum back. So I have a hard time judging something like that just because it wasn't decided. It wasn't determined. It wasn't played out to conclusion. It was unfortunate circumstances, and hopefully we learn more. Hopefully it's not serious. Hopefully, but the fact that it's mysterious is a little worrisome to me.
Yeah, of course, of course. We got Day Day the Mexican here who says, "Don't be sad, Dee can fill in and be the Samoan kitty cat on Team Swifty. Hashtag Deaf Riders versus Stream Swifty." Thank you, Day Day. You're so funny. We got John Taylor here who says the WWE AI talked to Chat GPT. Oh, I read this one already. Oh, so then I missed Day Day's super chat earlier. My apologies. We got Sheldon Jackson here who says, "Oh, I read that one too." All right, we got Sheldon here who says, "Denise, what is timeout? You took it there, so no, you go to timeout, you little nasty. Plus, there is no timeout in the DWO." I sent Sheldon to timeout during the watch along. We got Nell D here who says, "I want Triple H arrested tonight."
For what?
I don't know. Did you see? So we had like these, like, I don't know if you saw the report that came out that it looks like WWE is going to start using AI for their creative and storytelling and stuff like that.
Yeah, I did see it. Yeah.
So we were making a running joke during the watch along that because today's show is actually really good, we were like, oh, did AI actually book this? So I don't know what happened there, but yeah. We got Mike Santini here who says, "Just wanted to say thank you for everything you do." Thank you so much, Mike, for all the support and being a DWO member now for 9 months. Also, a great default there. We got John Taylor here who says, "You're pointing at the Mick Foley, not the QR code." Bro, on for me, it's right here. This is where my QR code is showing. So that's where I'm pointing. We got Bob Ross here who says, "I like how SmackDown went ahead and announced Blake versus Soul for the women's NXT North American Championship before NXT did, unless it was on purpose." I thought they had already announced the matchup. Did they not already announce the matchup?
I don't know, but I'm sure it's not, wasn't a mess up. And you also have the NXT announcer calling the show. So
True, true.
that makes sense and has a little continuity.
I feel like we already knew that match was happening. Maybe because we've been watching and following the story. So I guess we just assumed it was already announced. Maybe that's what that was. Thank you, Bob. We got Stephen Martrulli here says, "It's almost like it's almost like SmackDown started it's almost like SmackDown started a new season tonight. Charlotte versus Soul is a big WrestleMania money match someday." Yeah, we got to see Charlotte and Alexa versus Zarya and Soruka. That was a fun matchup too. I liked whenever we saw So interact with Charlotte. I thought that was very enjoyable. She even busted out a soul snatcher, not just
Mhm.
inside the ring, but also on the outside of the ring. How'd you like the match and the chemistry that you saw there?
Yeah, I mean that was the best part to me, that she hit the soul snatcher there and got the interaction with Charlotte. I mean, look, it's like a tale as old as time. It's become a recurring theme. You have the NXT person come up, they have the match with the legend, they look good, they come up short, and that's just kind of. But it's a good formula, right? Like the reason you repeat it is it's a good formula. So nobody comes out looking bad. Charlotte gets the win with the figure eight. So Ruka gets to look good against Charlotte Flair and get a message like from Steven, looking forward to the future. That's basically everything you're looking for in a match like that, I think.
I think so too. I think they did a good job. Now, the only thing that I want to see more of is I've been saying this a bunch and I'm going to keep saying it until they start doing it. I want to see more creative segments between Charlotte and Alexa. That's the next thing that I mainly want to see. But oh, yeah, and Sol and Zarya officially breaking up. Those are the two things. That's it. I don't ask for much. All right, we got Yatik Sahu. Hey, Yatik, thank you so much for being here. He says, damn, who joined the SmackDown writing team again? A fire show, Sami versus Dragunov, is what happens when you let the superstars wrestle. That's what I've been saying. Robin, do you ever feel like, and I was saying this, so I'm curious if you feel this way. Do you ever feel like you see a match that's been announced and on paper you're thinking, oh, this is going to be really good. But then instead of going a full 10 in the match, they go like a 5, where you're just thinking, had this been a PLE, they probably would have gone harder. I feel like I think that all the time. Do you?
Yeah, but I guess that's part. I mean, the kind of the way I see it structured, where the episodic TVs are to build to the PLEs, and the PLEs are for the showcase matches, and the TV. When you get a match like that on TV, it feels a little bit more special. But I understand what you're saying. And then you could even make the case for like that happening sometimes on a PLE, though. I mean, let's say Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton. And what was a really good show. I don't know if that one got perhaps the love it could have gotten otherwise. So maybe it's what I've seen last that will influence, but I understand what you're saying. But I also see where the effect could come into play, where a match like that stands out a little bit more because it's not happening every week. It's not routine, and it's a little bit different from the run of the mill show, which is a little bit more storytelling based, advancing things, promo based, where the PLEs are payoff based.
That's why I liked this match, because it didn't feel like your traditional Raw and SmackDown match. It felt like, oh shit, this could have been on a PLE. We were all making jokes during the watch along, being like, hey man, this was better than like half the PLE matches you've seen this
Mm.
year in WWE. So for me, that's what I loved about this matchup, was that they really, like, this wasn't at a 5. This went the full 10. Like, they went all the way and beyond. And so that's what made this match feel special. Thank you, Yatik. We got Sleaze Boy here who says, ooh, he's got an unethical booking. He says, rate my unethical booking part 1, Chelsea versus Alexa in a falls count anywhere. They fight to the back and Piper kicks the doll after it winks at her. Part 2, the doll then comes alive. Chelsea grabs on an Uzi and fires at it, but the bullets bounce off and it grows and laughs and grabs each Chelsea. Alexa wins. Okay, I gotta tell you, Robin, Sleaze Boy has came in here with some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
This one's actually probably the most lighthearted one that I think Sleaze Boy has sent in. This one felt like a movie.
Yeah, maybe it was AI. I don't know. The doll coming to life, though. I get it. Inventive, a little horror, a little creativity, a different. An Uzi. I mean, that I don't know when the last time I've seen an Uzi.
Oh my gosh, I used to have to pass out Uzis. We were talking about the Uzis, right? Like the.
I was thinking, yeah, gun, like an.
Oh no, I was thinking koozies.
No, an Uzi is like a gun with the flat, like rectangular top,
Oh, I'm so stupid. Wow, I was thinking about the cup holder, the
like little
koozies.
Uzi vertical.
Yeah, I was thinking of those little things. I was like, wait, this doesn't make sense, but okay, I'll take it. Okay,
Hold the
whatever.
Uzi vertical. Let the thing smoke. Y'all be flirting with death. I'll be winking through the scope.
I have no idea what you just said, but I like that it rhymed. Thank you, Sleaze Boy. We got Saif Den Super here who says, hi, so happy Ilya has returned. Bring up the 4 black stars of TNA, NXT to the main roster ASAP and send the AW rejects to TNA. It's a win-win. No one loses their jobs and I don't watch TNA. Saif, damn. He came out here, did not hold back and gave his thoughts. Yeah, I appreciate your honesty, man. And thank you for the super chat. Hey, Say what you want, bro. Like that's your opinion. Okay. We got Sleaze Boy here who says called it before and prediction they're going to interrogate Drew McIntyre. And since Drew wears the kilt, it's going to be a Basic Instinct.
Oh man.
Also, WrestleMania 21 remade the Basic Instinct scene. Watch it. Oh, I've seen it several times actually. But Drew and Cody. So because Drew thought that he could just get his number one contendership, he ended up getting a match with Cody today. That was very brief, of course, because it was a fight that turned into a match. How'd you feel about how they laid that part of it out?
Again, it was a little haphazard, I guess. Cody always winds up in these situations, and I think the announcer called it. We're like, "Why, dude? Like, what are you doing that
Wanted
for?"
to give something to the people because the
Yeah.
people thought they were gonna get a match.
And Drew McIntyre gets exactly what he wants out of ambushing.
But Cody did hit him with the
Jacob Fatu.
championship, so that
Yeah.
kind of screwed everything for him. So he got like a no title.
But again, when there is, so I don't know. It's hard for me because I don't know the timeline of when they knew about Jacob Fatu. What the gravity or severity of it was, because a lot of that was like felt a little fly by the seat of the pants. And if the Dragunov and Sami Zayn and some of the other stuff hadn't happened before, maybe it would be a little bit more like, okay, this was an issue for me. But it worked within the flow of the show, and now I feel like there's still a score to settle, at least between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre.
I did feel like it felt exciting though. The ending, I think it was more like the going into the crowd and knowing we
Mhm.
only had a couple of minutes and Cody's out there with a suit and are we gonna have a surprise champion? Like what's gonna happen here? I think that part of it did kind of feel exciting, but I mean, like, look, they last minute switched something. I think PW Insider's report that I saw said they made the decision minutes before
Yeah.
SmackDown I guess almost went live to, basically do this impromptu. This is how they're going to write out Fatu, etc. So it was quick. It was something that was thrown together really fast. And I mean, I think they did the best they could for something that was thrown together very fast.
Yeah, I mean, they've been seems like they've been faced with that a lot recently. The end of
Dude,
the end of Raw
yes.
was a lot more like shocking in the sense of holy shit. But the same sort of it feels like circumstances, unless we're being hoodwinked again there.
That's why I thought there was a chance that Drew might actually win and defeat Cody today.
Cody,
Because I
yeah.
thought, what if they want to keep the rhythm going of, hey, we had this big massive moment close out Raw, so maybe we'll have this big massive moment closing out SmackDown. I thought that for a second.
Yeah, I did have that inkling of a thought, but then Cody had just lost to Seth. So like he wins against Cena to get it back at SummerSlam, and then he loses to Seth, and then he drops the title to Drew less than a week later. It would give him some adversity to overcome, but it would feel a little quick based on him getting it back.
Thank you so much, Saif. We got a Sleets boy here who says, called it before and prediction. They're going to, oh, I'm sorry. I already read that one. My apologies. We got Saif Dun Super here who says Phoenix and especially Penta are not rejects. Definitely not. They're very talented. Saif also says TNA as a senior PGA tour circuit would be fun. What?
Golf.
Oh no, that's terrible. No. Thank you, Saif. We got Tracy here who says, I like that it rhymes. LMAO, love you, girly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tracy. We also got David Primero here who says Blake Monroe on SmackDown is gold. Wish she had a segment with Tiffy Soul on SmackDown would be lit, especially for the US title. Also, Zelina Vega looks like Scarlett. What do you WYT? So, okay, we kind of touched on a lot there with what David said. So, yes, the SmackDown women's division needs more women. We say this every week. If we had Blake Monroe officially there, it felt good seeing her like in the vicinity of that division. And then I would have loved to see obviously more. I want to see her and Tiffany, her and Charlotte. I want to see it all, right? So I'm with you on that. Zelina Vega is officially paired off now with Aleister Black. They had a really cool little vignette today where they had like a snake and everything. How'd you feel about that?
I think that was my second favorite part of the show.
Really?
Oh yeah,
The vignette.
the vignette,
Oh shit.
it gives them a little purpose. It builds on what happened with Aleister Black getting the win in the match. And how do I put this eloquently? I found the aesthetics of Zelina Vega with the snake to look cool.
Blue Chew,
Yeah.
promo code Denise. Okay, we can read between the lines of what Robin is saying.
Yeah, she looked good. So that I think I don't know. I feel like it gives them both some natural life and pizzazz that they didn't have individually, and I thought the vignette was presented well. So I don't know where it goes from here, but I'm so much more interested and invested in them as a pair than I was in them as solo acts.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. And the way that I felt was I just didn't feel like Zelina was at that level that some of the other women are on the show. And it was kind of starting. I noticed it in the match that she had with Chelsea. And I thought, and then some of the matches that she had with Julia. So I just kind of felt like, okay, I think I'm seeing that I think she kind of fits in a different direction more where I really like Zelina, but it's just not the same as like watching Tiffany and Bianca, all of these other girls that are just a little bit more in ring wise, just have a little bit more to offer. So I feel like this being her role and given what she's done in the past in a managerial role, I feel like this is the perfect way to highlight her, give her something new, and also add to Aleister Black because there was a period there where it felt a little dull. Like we would come out here and be like, oh, like he's back, but it's not really feeling so hot. We like Alistair. We want to cheer for Alistair, but they're not giving us anything to really, really want to cheer for. So now I'm intrigued by this whole dark couple thing. And David, you mentioned that she looks like kind of like Scarlett. It's not that she looks like Scarlett, it's that it feels honestly, like the Alistair Zelina pairing almost feels like the same way that Scarlett would interact with Cross, that
Mm,
spooky vibe, and here's my man, and ooh,
yeah.
that kind of vibe. There's a lot of similarities there, but also they've kind of been those people now for a while too.
Well, and Aleister Black was doing that bit, right?
Right.
But vibes is the right word. It does have similar vibes, but that's about it, I would say. And I agree. I think he was boring. I just flat out say it was boring. And they do the entrance and okay, I'm a spooky guy, and then he might kick somebody, whatever. In this case, there's at least a little bit more. All right, well, what's going on here? And she brings a little spice and energy to it, and I'm now interested to see where it goes, which is a big step up from before when I was kind of like, okay, let's let this part of the show go past and then get to the next one.
I feel you. I 100% get it. David, thank you so much. We got Sleaze Boy here who says Zelina betrayed Damian Priest and Puerto Rico for some D because Alistair Black is Dutch. Hey, if you want to get some D or you're giving the D, Blue Chew promo code Denise. All right, we got Steven Marchuli here who says the Glamour versus Tiffany or Blake versus Alexa. I'm greedy. I want both WrestleMania 20. I want both in 26. Sorry, 2026.
Mhm.
Thank you, Steven. There's so many women's matches that we're like waiting for. We're itching closer to them. We're inking closer to them. Thank you, Steven. We got Blinging with Kimberly who says SmackDown was a really good show tonight. I agree with you. I had so much fun. Robin, I looked up at the clock and I thought, oh my God, the show's about to be over. I was still planning on sitting here for another hour thinking we still had all this time. But I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, I don't know how long Sami Zayn and Ilya was. That I was locked in happy mode, cloud nine the entire time. Thank you, Blinging with Kimberly.
Well, that's the kind of thing that can make an entire show, and it probably did eat up a quarter of it, something on that. I don't know what the actual. I didn't have my stopwatch out. Remember those? Wasn't that like the thing? Like the AW versus. I think I did a bit on that once. Like the matches were only 11 minutes long versus this. But yeah, it felt like it was given the proper time on the show, and it felt like the showcase piece of the show. And really, in a week to week basis, when there are so many shows and there's so many different episodes and go, I think when you can have that one thing that you go, all right, I remember that. Like that was cool. Dragunov returned. He won the US title. They set up a War Games match. It was a great match. Like that's a successful show in and of itself. The rest of it is seasoning. And I think, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre are involved in the main event. And Charlotte and so we talked about that. I mean, the vignette, like all that other stuff, but that the centerpiece, the foundation of this SmackDown episode was that.
It's like you can actually remember things from this SmackDown. Like if I bring up this SmackDown in a couple of months, people are actually going to remember it. It was a great I feel like Ilya's return in the match with Sami was honestly one of my top favorite SmackDown moments of 2025. It's up there with my favorite Raw SmackDown moments of 2025. So I'm just happy that we got that. But the other thing that I do want to mention, and you mentioned it earlier and you mentioned it right now too, is the potential War Games match between the MFTs and Wyatt Six. I don't know that I'm feeling that as the War Games match. I don't feel like either MFTs or the Wyatt Six are that popular to me. Like maybe I get it, like everybody loves the Wyatt Six, but just both of the two groups don't feel big enough to be the War Games match. I don't know. Am I the only person who feels this way? Because like even hearing you say that, I was like, like it made me like it bummed me out. Like I was just like, oh, that's the War Games match.
Well,
Yeah, okay.
it ain't gonna headline War Games, but on the card. So I don't know because when
See,
if
but
Seth
that's
Rollins.
not good. I feel like if you're gonna do the men's War Games and that's the men's War Games, like wouldn't you think that would be headlining the show?
Well, it can't. I mean, like just what you just said. It's not. There's not enough juice
So then
behind
let's not do it.
either group. But yeah, why can't it be on the card as a war game? I guess I don't know. I feel like the war games on the other side might have gotten messed up by everything else that took place too
Seth and all of
with
that,
Seth,
yeah.
because I mean you naturally had the Vision and then the Usos and Roman Reigns and CM Punk and that group of characters. So I don't know what happened there, or if there's a possibility that that's a match and it's not a War Games match. But given the number of participants, it just makes sense as a War Games match to me. And then they'll sell the card around something else. You know, is Cena scheduled for that one? How many?
I was hoping he'd be in a War Games match.
Yeah. So I looked at. By the way, side note, but I looked at tickets for his final.
Oh, I
Holy
looked
shit!
too. It's like thousands of dollars to
Yeah,
like
to
try to
like
get a seat.
at the top, because DC's right, it's only a few hours from me. I was like, just and like, man, like the nosebleeds are like a grip.
Oh, hell no. Like, but I feel that if you are a massive John Cena fan, people are going to be, spending. But also, I would just wait and see if those ticket prices go down. Honestly, just like wait and see. Cause I know people have been saying that they wait until last minute and they get like a drastically lower price on
Yeah.
tickets. I'm testing it out, by the way, for Monday Night Raw. I'm not planning on going, but I've been following the ticket sales, like the ticket prices. So I'm keeping an eye out on it and I'm going to see if that plan actually works.
I think it does, but not for a novelty thing like this.
Not for like
It
a John Cena
Yeah,
retirement.
because
Yeah.
it's his last match. Like for a big, like, let's say a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania, one of those events where it people buy the tickets early and they go crazy, and then maybe as you get closer to the card, people drop out or they don't know what to do. You can capitalize in that fashion. I don't know how much they'll come down, given the ticket is good to say I was at John Cena's last match, no matter what happens otherwise.
Yeah, I think so too. People are gonna go crazy. Alrighty. I think we basically covered everything from Friday Night SmackDown today. So a fun show, a good show. Happy that we tuned in and we had a great time. Welcome back, Ilja Dragunov. Let's go. That's a wrap for us today. But before we finish everything off, just a friendly reminder to everybody that if you haven't subscribed here to the channel yet, make sure to subscribe. Also, if you enjoyed this video, there's now a new feature where you can hype videos up on YouTube. So if you see your favorite video from a creator you really enjoy, hype it up, guys. You don't lose anything and it really helps us out. So if you enjoyed this video or you enjoyed any of my videos that I put out in the last 7 days, because it's every 7 days you get to hype a new amount of videos, hype them up. It really goes a long way. So thank you in advance for anybody doing so. And then Robin, tell the people where they can follow you and check out your work.
Yeah, Robin Lindbergh over on YouTube. Robin Lindbergh on socials. Well, the Robin Lindbergh, I think, on Instagram because somebody's got that. And then I do have the Ring Rascals thing. I got up and running with my kids. Got to keep populating that, but like to plug it because we I love those guys, those rascals.
Aww. I think we'll end on that note, guys. Alrighty, everyone. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for Wrestle Dream coverage. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye, everyone.
Yeet.